It's Passenger Seat Radio, early morning dark edition. I thought it might pick up a little bit better. But, you can see it's very dark. Once I'm on some main thoroughfares, though, you'll be able to see. Hey, welcome to Passenger Seat Radio. I am your host, Shane R. Monroe. It is October 27th, 2025, and you're on my 13-mile commute to work. Well, yeah, I was going to wait until the trip home to finish things up, but I thought if I actually wanted to have a show on the way home that wasn't about Vegas, maybe I could do that. So you early morning fans get the opportunity to get the rest of the Vegas story, and then we'll say, hey, now, who's here? Oh, it's Fernando. Hey, what's up, Flair? Yeah, so we left off. This is the second half of the Vegas show. If you don't care about anything I did in Vegas while I was there, then you could probably skip this episode. I won't be covering anything else. So now we're midweek. We just went to, we went on Tuesday. We went to see the Fantasy Topless Review, which was really great. We did the VIP tour. If you missed out on any of that, it's on the last episode. And then on Wednesday, we had another show planned called Rouge. Now, this is at the Stratosphere. Now, we've never been to the Stratosphere, so we thought it'd be kind of fun, one, to see a show, another show, and two, to go someplace we hadn't been in Vegas, which is weird because we've been to Vegas a bunch of times and we've never, ever been to the Stratosphere, nor have we ever been up to the top of the Stratosphere, which it basically looks like a giant space needle, but it's a lot taller. So Rouge is an upscale topless review. It's more like a vaudeville show, which is kind of cool. When I say vaudeville, I mean like there's lots of different acts, strongman acts, aerial silks, like impressionists. They've got like really elaborate sets, and it's in a huge theater. It's a bigger show. So think of Fantasy at the Luxor like an appetizer. And then when you want to go see the full meal deal, you go see Rouge at the Stratosphere. Ticket prices are about the same. So if you only get to see one show, then you can't see both, right? I recommend Fantasy still, but if you can only go to one, then go to Rouge. So again, we used an Uber to get to Rouge because we decided that this was the way to go, is use a taxi, use rideshare, do something so you don't have to drive in Vegas. First of all, driving in Vegas sucks, as we talked about in the last show. It's cheaper to drive yourself. Now, that's one thing for sure. But it's Vegas, baby. You want to get messed up. You want to have a few drinks. You don't want to drive. Yeah, and that's the way to go. Use the taxi service. And again, as I mentioned on the last show, the taxi service is all like rideshare now. You can put in a call, taxis will come, you use an app to pay them. It's basically the same thing. But the taxis don't surge charge, right? So things get busy at taxis the same price as it is when it's not busy. So something to consider. Now I'm going to tell you now, the taxi failed us in one particular place, and it has to do with this Rouge visit, Stratosphere in this case. So we went to, so we took our rideshare, went to the Stratosphere, and we got there early enough because we like to get there early enough to find the venue, right? Know where we're supposed to go, know the rules of engagement. It's all assigned seating, so there should be no engagement, but you know, people are, it's crazy. Plus, we wanted to have a couple drinks before the show, right? That seems reasonable. So, so we get there and we go in. The entrance to Rouge, or that theater, is on the second level. So all of the signs that say theater, Stratosphere Theater, top of the world, it all goes to the same place, which is one level up from the casino. So we got up there. We saw that there was a bar. You know, it was open. There were people at the bar. But there was no like gathering for the show yet. We got there about 8:30, 9:30 showtime, which was great because, you know, 10:30 showtimes are a little bit late for us, even though we had the VIP tour and everything. Like I said, we're both professionals, and you can see I'm going to work at 6 in the morning, so we don't tend to stay as late anymore. So we got there, and it's like, okay, we know where we're going, and the bar wasn't quite open yet, or there wasn't seating, something or another. So we're like, let's go down to one of the bars downstairs, and we'll drink for a while. And I said, why don't we go up in the Stratosphere? We've never been up there. And she's like, fuck no, I'm not going up there. There's no way. You see here, I thought I saw some chat blow by. Live chat. Hey now. Oh, hey, Alex is on too. So she goes, there's no fucking way I'm going up there, right? Did I talk about this already? I've told this story a few times. Did I already talk about Stratosphere and Rouge on this show? Somebody help me out. Because maybe we're just down to Wizard of Oz. I can't remember for sure. I'm going to continue until somebody tells me otherwise. So my wife's like, there's no fucking way I'm going up there. And I'm like, well, I should go up there, right? I promised my YouTube channel that I would share some interesting videos, some shorts while I was here. And if you're at the Stratosphere and you don't go up in the Stratosphere and do cool shit from up on top where it's all scary outside, then you're missing out. So I'm like, I'm going to go up. And she goes, that's fine. I'm going to sit here and drink. And I'm like, okay. So you go to the box office up there, and it turns out to get up, I thought maybe there was an elevator up and that was just part of the hotel, but no, they figured out how to monetize that. So it is $27 plus tax, tip, and gratuity to get to the top. And that doesn't buy you anything. There's no like souvenirs or pamphlets or anything like that. That's just go up in the elevator, get off, and be on the observation deck. That's all that is. If you're at the hotel, if you're staying at the Stratosphere, it's only $10 to go up. Something to consider. Now, they asked me if I was staying at the hotel. I was wondering, when somebody asks you if you're a god, you say yes. I did not say yes, because she'd probably want to know my room number and last name. So it's like, you know what, I'm not going to go there. So I paid my money, and so it's kind of weird. People assume, I don't know why, but everybody I've talked to about this story, they assume I'm in a glass elevator. And I would have assumed it would have been a glass elevator, but I don't know why we make that assumption. Because it's something scary and a glass elevator would make it more scary? I don't know. But it's not. So if you're worried about it being a glass elevator, it's not. So it's funny though, they loop you around a lot, and I don't know if it's just for space or what. Maybe when it was busier or when it's a seasonal thing, but you end up kind of going. So you buy your tickets and then you go sort of around the corner, and then they send you through like a security. I guess you could raise some havoc up there, I guess, if you brought weapons or something. So they send you through a metal detector and like some cattle troughing, and then they send you up a level, and then you wrap around. It's really weird. It's like it takes a long time to get to the elevator. You wouldn't think that would be a thing, but it is. There's two elevators, A and B, and these elevators have some interesting things about them. I swear to God, I've told this story. Did anybody talk to me in the live chat about it? No? Snapshot prior, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I've got that somewhere. I'll get it to you, Flair. All right, so again, I'm sorry if I'm going over old ground. Fast forward a little bit. I'll get to the Wizard of Oz. So the elevator, it's weird, right? So they're little tiny doors, and you're kind of going, huh? It almost looks like I'm trying to think. I've seen these little tiny elevators before, but I can't think right now. I'm trying to think, but nothing's happening. And so they're like, just wait out in front of the elevators. A or B will open. Just get in whichever one opens. I'm like, okay. So I get over there, and there's nobody with me, by the way. It is, yeah. I saw it on Instagram. I'm pretty sure I kept a copy of it. I'll have to look. Anywho, So B opens up, and there's people on it. So that alone questioned me. Where the hell did the people come from? If I'm at the entrance, what are those people doing on there? Don't know. And there were two couples, so the elevator wasn't that small, it just seemed small. And so I went on, and it didn't even faze me. Why are there people on here? But there you go. I was just too excited to get to the top. Remember, I'm on a schedule here too. I'm on a timed schedule, but I got to get back down, get to the show. My wife will be pissed if I'm traffic's really bad today. Sorry for the interruptions here. Let me get dialed in. So I got on, and we start going, right? And it's nice and smooth. There's no glass. You can't see out. And I'm thinking, she should have come. She'd have been fine. And then I guess as you get to a certain height, the elevator starts shimmying. And I got a little nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. I got a little nervous, and I kind of laughed it off, and I said, my wife said there was no way in hell she was coming with me. She would have never made it past this part. She would have started freaking out. And the other couples started laughing. And so you get off on the 108th floor of the stratosphere, the elevator. Typically, I'm getting to this. There's some other stuff, interesting stuff. So we got up to the, so then you literally walk off and you're like in a room. It's weird. It's like, I don't know. I expected to get off the elevator into the blasting wind, being on this little platform. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was nothing. You walk out and you're like, okay. And, if you've ever been on the Space Needle, which I had a few times because I lived in Washington, the Space Needle sways a little bit and you can feel it. And it's a little disconcerting, to be honest with you. But there was nothing going on up there. Didn't feel anything. And I'm like, I'm almost a little disappointed. So when you get off on 108, you are on an enclosed observation deck. So there's no outside access at all. There's no outside wind. There's no outside weather. You're literally like in a giant it's not a room, but a giant circular structure with probably 5 or 6 main rooms that I could see. And then all around the outside edge of it are all windows. And along the windows are seats, couches, just places to hang out. And there were people hanging out. There were just people up there playing on their phones, people up there just staring out. It's like, okay, this is cool. I mean, it's a neat view. It's a cool view. And so I walked around the whole thing, took some YouTube video, finally got around to posting it. I don't know why, but I could not seem to get a YouTube short to post very well in Vegas. 5G or something sucks there. I don't know. But anyway, so I walked around, and up there is like a full bar. So if you want to go up and drink, you can. If you just want to go up there and hang out, you can. And there's also a treat place up there. It's called 108 Snacks. And it's like all homemade shit. So homemade cookies, homemade ice cream. They even make homemade freaking waffle cones. All right, I was watching them make waffle cones. And listen, this is all Vegas pricing, right? It's the same sort of expensive. Listen, if you're going to Vegas, plan on spending money, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. So I decided to get a little bowl of ice cream, nothing that I had to carry around like a cone, just a little bowl that I could eat real quick. And it was nice. It was really good. So listen, if you're already up there, you might as well get a little snack, hang out. But I didn't have time to get a little snack and hang out. I had to go up to the open air observation deck. That's a totally different thing. So you wander around, go up this ramp, and this sort of takes you up one floor to 109. And at 109, there's these giant, thick, revolving doors. So I was like I said, I've been up on the Space Needle, and it's absolutely crazy with the wind and shit. Nothing like that going on here. Went right out the rotating doors, got out there, and it was quiet. It wasn't too cold. I expected it to be cold. It wasn't too cold. It wasn't blasting you with wind. It wasn't raining. It was beautiful. It was just so serene and gorgeous up there. And again, it's all along the top, right? So you can walk around about 3/4 of that observation deck up there. So you can see the strip, you can see downtown, you can see all of the stuff that matters. On 109 is a thrill ride, and fuck this, man. There's no fucking way. You see this all the time on YouTube. World's scariest rides, or most dangerous rides, or most likely you'll die. True. And so it's like this little octopus thing, right? It's got like, 8 gondolas or whatever, and they spin. Except for on the Vegas version, as it's spinning, it lifts you up and puts you over the side of the Strat. So you're like 109 stories up, and there's nothing underneath you outside of the thing you're sitting in. And I'll tell you what, it was down, by the way. It was up. It was down for maintenance. I wouldn't have gone on it anyway. I'm not that crazy, but I thought, okay, good. I don't have to watch anybody dangling over the edge. And then also, a couple more floors above, I think it's 111 or 112, there is a drop ride. One of those things where you get in this little circular set of seats. In this case, it's a square, and they lift you up really, really slow, another 100, 150 feet, and then when you get up to the top, they just randomly drop your ass. Yeah, that ride's at the top of the Strat. I'm not riding that ride either. Screw that. But there were people riding that ride, and they were screaming and yelling. I'm like, oh my God. I took just some short video, but it's like, there's no way. Not going to happen. So I also got some shots of, by the way, the sphere from up there is incredible. It's like the size of a marble, because you're far enough away. It's all the other way on the other side of the strip. So I'm closer to downtown at the Stratosphere, and then the sphere is over by the Wynn. Anyway, so it looked great, but now I'm on the clock, right? So I've got to get my ass back down. I go pick up my wife. She's had a couple of drinks. She's feeling pretty good. We get up and we go back up, and now the place is full for people that are going to go see Rouge. And of course, people, it's assigned seating, man. Why do you got to be in first? Everybody's crowding and pushing and being rude little assholes. It's like, come on, man. You got an assigned seat. Now, I bought the best seats in the house, and I'm going to tell you why. So this is a big theater. It's in 3 sections, by the way. There's a VIP section, which is where we sat. There's a middle section and then a rear section. They all have great views of the stage, but the VIP is where they're going to interact with you. Some people love to be part of the show, love to be interacted with. Other people, stay the hell away from me, right? If you're a stay the hell away from me kind of person, don't sit in VIP, because VIP got it from all sides. True. So you go in. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful theater. Huge, thick, red, red curtains. It's unbelievable. A couple of giant screens on the 2 sides, and so the stage itself has like this little indent that comes out, right? So it's a rounded stage, but at the front there's a place where like performers can come out and stand. Our seats were literally right next to that, to the left. It was like you're right there. It's like you're in the show. Greatest seats ever. And so all tables seat 4. So unless you're planning on buying all 4 seats, you're probably going to have company. That could go south any number of different directions. But the couple we had next to us, and again, it's a couples thing. Mostly couples here. Some very rowdy Russians were there, and I'll get to that story in a minute. But I mean, there's booths if you want to sit in a booth. There's tables if you prefer the tables. And so we all gathered in there, right? And then much like the Kylie Minogue residency show, about 15 minutes before the show starts, performers start wandering out into the audience and getting and perching on different locations throughout the theater, and they're just there for you to kind of look at. And so there's an angel, a devil. They're both women, and then there's a couple of guys like I don't want to call them like slave outfits, but they're like, they're revealing guy outfits, whatever the suitable, politically correct version is for men to be dressed. But they're very elaborate costumes, right? They're really, really cool. And they're just sitting there while music plays and they got a spotlight on them, and they occasionally stretch or move or do something in character. So it's kind of cool. So you have something to kind of look at while you're waiting for the show to start. Now the show, as I mentioned, is let me get over a lane here. As I mentioned, the show is very much like Fantasy, only bigger, more vaudeville. So you get two hosts that come out. It's a man. He's got the waxed mustache. Looks like he's right out of a freaking vaudeville show. She comes out, and I felt bad for her because she had to wear she wore ugly clothes and this ugly wig. I'm trying to figure out what's the slant there, because you can tell she's hot, right? I mean, everyone there's hot, but you can tell. I mean, they're trying to uggo up for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, they come out, and it is like a pure comedy show with those two. It's amazing to watch them interact with each other, but most important is that they interact with the crowd. So they're there to warm you up. They're there to interact with the crowd and actually find some focus people, right? Like we did for Fantasy. They find focus people that they can engage with the show. And this appears to be a standard deal. Now, this show seemed a bit naughtier than Fantasy, which is kind of weird. I mean, it's Fantasy. You expect it to be naughty. But if foul language bothers you, if grotesque sexual act discussion bothers you, all of that stuff is in the Ruse show. They're so funny, you two. They're so funny. They bounce off of each other. But here's the fun part. Here's the part you're waiting for. So I'm sitting right in front. I'm right there with my wife. And my wife's dressed to kill, by the way, which was great. And the chick kind of flirted with her a little bit. And the guy reaches out to me and he's like, "Sir, what's your name?" My name is Shane. He's like, Shane, okay. So, and all of a sudden I became part of the show. From that point on, my name was uttered probably 20 times throughout the course of the show. It was like, Shane, I'm going to get you laid tonight. Congratulations. Shane, have you ever done X, Y, or Z? Anyway, it was constantly coming back to me. And it has to be the seat, not me, because there's a spotlight trained on it. So every time he addressed me and expected some sort of an answer, the spotlight would kick on, which was fine. I me, I like to perform. So it was fun. But yeah, so I was like the main focus. So I was what do they call that? The repeat focus. Other people in the audience, right? They were like, whatever part of the show needed them. So every time there was an act, there would be downtime while they reset. Now remember, some of these sets were really elaborate, far more elaborate than Fantasy was. In other words, you got, there was I don't want to spoil too much, but they have a Roman set. Everybody's dressed up as gladiators. It's unbelievable. They had one that's set in France. They had one of my favorites was so simple. It was so simple. There was probably 15 acts, I think, total, but there were two that really stood out, and I want to talk about them. So one of them was a single dancer, female, in a bathtub. So you can tell that they've laid plastic down, which means there's going to be water, right? So she's in the bathtub, and there's it's this elaborate exotic dance, and there's this hose above her that's dripping water into the tub. So she's splashing around, being all erotic, blah 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 blah. Yes, the top comes off, and next thing you know, she grabs the hose and turns it into aerial silks. So she's climbing up the hose, rolling around using the hose as like a pole. Unbelievable. It was a crazy deal. It was awesome. It was amazing. And again, it was just her. The other piece, by the way, there's men in this show. Again, Fantasy was all female review. This one had almost equal parts men and women, which was kind of cool. Not that I'm interested in seeing half-naked men, but, I do have my wife was with me. And you can tell that it was a little more evenly leveled. But everybody sort of pairs up, right? So every time there's sort of an ensemble, there's pairs, right? And there's a girl-girl pair. Yeah, they they kiss you a little bit and they flirt with each other, but it's not quite what I was hoping for. But listen, you can't have everything, right? Remember what Stern said: lesbians equal ratings, and I swear it's still true today. Anyway, so there's some great numbers, but the real impressive thing is there's 3 guys in there. Guys don't have an ounce of body fat on them. It disgusts me. It must be what women think when they see other women that are like thinner or in better shape or whatever. They get that sort of envy. It's like, God, how little do I have to eat, and how much a day would I have to work out to look like that guy? Because that guy's in amazing condition. But these guys were basically strongmen, and with a little bit of acrobatic stuff. These 3 dudes did stuff that blew my mind. They were absolutely incredible. All strongman stuff. It was amazing. You would be totally stunned at what these guys can do, how strong they were, how much balance and coordination these guys had. It was crazy. Everybody was just like oohing and ahhing and clapping. Everybody just lost their minds with these guys. They're really good. And they did a couple of bits. Now the two that were like hosting, right? The man and the woman that were hosting, they actually had bits of their own. Unlike the fantasy MC, where she just sort of interluded with them as she was singing, but there wasn't like an act for her. She sang and she did jokes and warmed the crowd up. These 2 were actually like part of the show, and they were no less amazing than the rest of them, which really surprised me. I mean, they just seemed like they were the hosts. I didn't think they were doing anything cool. But they did great stuff. Theirs might have been one of the better acts out there. So it's really good. So again, all throughout the show, they're messing with the people in front. Again, if you're from out of town, I'm thinking out of country, if you're Asian, if you're Russian, whatever, they're going to mess with you. They're going to have fun with you. And the less English you speak, the better, because they narrow in on it. It's great. Anyway, same thing happened as what happened at Fantasy. They had some fun with the people in front. But right behind us were these Russian guys. And there was a group of like 4 of them with their partners. So probably a group of about 7 or 8. And these guys didn't shut the fuck up. Everybody, I mean, the people at the table next to me, the people at the other set of tables, everybody was pissed that these guys would not shut their freaking mouths. Now, I expected the hosts to get on them about it, right? Because they were kind of ruining the fun. They were being obnoxious and loud. Sometimes the obnoxious, loud people can be fun and add to the show. These guys weren't those people. So I got my digs in, right? There's only one of me and like 4 of them, and they're half my age, so I wasn't going to be kicking anybody's ass. So the host addresses me about, what was it? He says something like, "Now Shane," and of course the spotlight comes on. "Now Shane, what do you think of blah blah blah?" Right? And I look up at him and said, "What was that?" He's like, "Oh, you didn't hear me." And I said, "Yeah, I can't hear over any. I can't." What did I say? Oh, I said, "The only thing I could hear are these guys behind me." And he kind of jumped on that a little bit. Very, very politically correct. You can tell they're used to dealing with this. But he repeated it, and then the show went on. But I got my digs in. The guy at the table who hadn't talked to us the entire time nudges me on the side and says, "Thank you," or "Good job," or something like that. I don't remember. Now, here's the fun part. So the show ends, and so we're all sort of cattle guiding out of the place, and people are like, I'm suddenly like everybody's friend. Everyone's like, "Hey Shane, yeah, good job. That was really good. That was funny, ha." And I'm like, "Oh, well, thanks. Okay, fine. What am I, a celebrity now?" And so we cattle call out, and after the show, they'll set up this perfect place to take pictures. The 2 hosts, the host and the hostess, will be out there along with, I'm assuming, random dancers from the show. Got pictures taken. Fantastic. And as we were in line for the pictures, and by the way, get in line. The people who handle those lines, No nonsense going on. They will rip you if you try to cut or try to push or something. Good for them. But I'm sitting in line and it's like, hey Shane, good job. And and as people are walking by, and I'm going, what the fuck, man? Are people getting paid to like address me? What is that? So we get in, we go in for our picture, and he's like, Shane, oh, come on. Like all of a sudden, I'm just part of the family. It was really good. We took the pictures. And then, now here's the part that you got to know about. So we got done with the pictures. We're just going to head back to the hotel. We're not going to hang out for anything else. We're ready to go. We're ready to go home or go back to the Circa. So we're going downstairs, and people on the escalator are like, hey, Shane. Hey, man. Nice work. Good job. I'm like, what the hell? This is crazy. What is this? And so we go down, and then you go out where where it says like ride shares and stuff. Now we were planning on taking a taxi. We're all good with a taxi. My wife had a bad experience with Uber, so she doesn't want to be on Uber anymore. That's fine. So we get down there, no taxis, none, zero, zilch on the taxis, none. And I'm like, well, maybe there'll be one in a couple minutes. We'll just hang out. So we're hanging out. People are getting ride shares. Ubers are showing up, and it's like 2 or 3 more times. Hey Shane, great job. Hey, loved you, man. Love you, man. I'm like, okay, love you too. So weird. And then, so finally, we talked to the security people that were out there, and they said for some reason taxis never come over here. Now we could summon a taxi, but I said let's just grab an Uber. They're obviously filtering in through here. They know what's going on. We'll grab an Uber and we'll go back. So we got the rideshare ordered up, right? It's like 6 minutes or whatever. And so the rideshare shows up. By the way, it's so funny. Like 3 of the exact same cars showed up. So it's like, which one's ours? Fortunately, they give you the plate number, but it's like, God, that looks exactly like the one that they show in the picture. So anyway, so we're getting in the Uber, right? Because remember, the host promised he was going to get me laid that night. That's what he said. And so we're getting in the ride share, my wife and I. My wife doesn't like the attention. I'm great with the attention, but so we're getting ready to get in the Uber. It's like, hey Shane, I'm like, what the hell, man? Hey Shane, man, looks like it's gonna work out for you. Because I told you my wife was all dressed up, so it was really funny. Anyway, the ride share turned out to be great. My wife had some restored faith in Uber, but it was a really fun show. So again, you only get to watch one, either Fantasy or Rouge. Go see Rouge. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic show. So yeah. So what do we have left? The last stop is the Wizard of Oz. Now, I could cover the Wizard of Oz here on the show, but I already did a complete review of it. So I'm thinking to myself, let's end the Vegas talk with this show. And if you're curious about how the Wizard of Oz went, what it was like, how it works, is it worth it, right? That's what everyone wants to know. Is it worth it? Is Wizard of Oz at the Sphere worth it? I don't know. Do you like the Wizard of Oz? Maybe it's worth it. But yeah, I mean, there's some subjective things and some objective things we could talk about. But it's very expensive. It's cool, but it's not as cool as you think it is. That's pretty much the bottom line. The tornado scene kicks ass. Is 3 minutes of tornado worth $135 per seat? Probably not. Maybe to you. It's a shortened version of the Wizard of Oz. It's half AI generated, which just sticks out like a sore thumb to me. I saw Uncanny Valley all over the place. I do not appreciate that piece of it. I'm a casual fan of the Wizard of Oz. This was actually the perfect Wizard of Oz cut in terms of time, in my opinion. It's down to a succinct 75 minutes, which is a perfect amount of time for Wizard of Oz. All the scenes were covered. You met all the primary characters. All the important subplots were there. It really was like the best version of the Wizard of Oz in terms of time. But I was not pleased with all of the AI. I understand why they did it. I know what they were up to. Now I've seen it, and it was good. But if you want to know more about Wizard of Oz, I do have a complete video review of it. Talk about everything. And that was it. And then that night, my side started feeling not so great. My lower left quadrant. And so it started to become uncomfortable, and diverticulitis. I get it every few years. I'm kind of used to it, but kind of not used to it. It happens to where I know what it is, but not enough where it's like, hey, I can get through this. So we went back on Friday, the end of the week, and I went straight to urgent care because I figured I was going to probably need antibiotics as I did before. So I went to urgent care, got the antibiotics, and started chewing on those for the weekend, and that was it. That was the end of Vegas, and it was a great trip. It was fantastic. We spent plenty of time in our room. We went to Saginaw. We went to all of the places that we like. Yeah, it was great. It was a really good time. It was off season, which we normally don't go. So while there wasn't quite as many people, that was sort of welcome after the St. Patrick's Day we went to. Good God, never go on St. Patrick's Day, no matter how much you like to drink. All right, well, listen, that's it. We're done with the Vegas stuff. We can go back to our regularly scheduled program. If I have enough stuff to talk about, we'll do a show this afternoon on the way home from work. So thanks so much for watching. Take care. I'm Shane R. Monroe, your host. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.